Okay, good night everybody. So, don't mind the noise. The people, in the apartment. I suspect, and I've said, like in a previous video, that we are now in the middle of a crisis of the Titan operators, and we have seen this in the past, and it's maybe that maybe something happened to them, or maybe they are like sick, or maybe they are like in kind of organized vacation, like I don't know, maybe a seminar, I don't know, human relations seminar. And anyway, the demonstrable effect of the situation is that it seems that we are now in the middle of like an episode where the zombies operate the zombies. And this it means that they are much more. It's not that the Titan operators are in any way, gentle or, I don't know, intricate or intelligent. It's always like in your face, and like a 5-kilogram hammer in your face. But when the zombies are operating the zombies, you can expect that they will press all the buttons in the keyboard, and they will be much more loud even than ever. And you hear they will break stuff like you heard just right now, and even like minor starting. With minor incidents of violence, like they will like presumably by accident, they will just they hit you like when you were walking the apartment, things like that. And obviously, if it will continue, I don't know how long the operators will, the data operators will be missing. If it's forever or for a long time, you can expect as they say, haslama. How do you say haslama in English? Like descent into chaos, and certainly, the chaos, as I say many times, they do not know what is Israel, so you can expect, of course, retaliation all over the globe. The blue planet. The blue planet. It's not. It's the blue planet. So. And just like in the Kurt Vonnegut novel, Slaughterhouse 5. So Slaughterhouse in the 5 continents. It's sad, but it's unavoidable because they don't have like patience, and they don't have any kind of like restraint. The zombies, and but they will escalate. Escalate is the correct term. They will escalate to like non-apologetic and covered violence, and the retaliation will be all over the globe. Just so what's coming. So you know what to expect. It will probably be tonight because they don't like to wait, and they are the most dangerous when they are disappointed. And of course they're disappointed because according to their fantasies, the only reason why the robot did not subjugate to the Shabak in the last 40 years is because for some reason the Titan operators were not like cruel or crude enough with him, because that's the only way why he's not like doing whatever like acting like the robot that he is. But now that their mothers are away for this reason or another, now they will show everybody that they are not the small children, and they cannot, the zombies can, they are not only good at presumably nothing at all actually, but they can also operate themselves, and presumably they can be cool with me, and harsh as they don't have presumably the warm heart, or that presumably that the females had towards me. That's why their subjugation, tyranny, and cruelty and torture didn't work. So now the zombies are they are restraintless, and they will show everybody how how it's done. And of course it's done using violence, and of course retaliation will be all over the globe, and it will be Slaughterhouse, but really at this time, I don't think that it's avoidable because I mean no one over the world I mean is moving an arm or a leg, and I mean this is the situation they will do. I mean the escalation is almost inevitable. So I mean just so you know I mean what's happening. So we'll not be surprised why I mean as I said it already happened during the 1980s that I mean not only the Shabak and the Mossad that were annihilated but other intelligence services all around the world, I mean, suffered. So, I mean, it didn't happen that long ago. So, I mean, you should be like already acquainted with the procedure. Of course, now it will affect much more people all over the globe. And, but I mean, you do your thing. I guess. I mean that you prefer. I mean, you know that's going to happen, but you prefer not to move an arm or a leg. And the zombies will act. I mean, in a very, I mean, predictable way. So you can expect both like the escalation and the retaliation to take place probably, I mean, sometime during this night or at the latest, I mean, tomorrow morning because, I mean, they are not known, the zombies are not known for their patience. So this will be a microscopic video. It's about an hour ago because after taking the samples, I didn't put it under the microscope immediately because, I mean, I spoken with my daughters over, I mean, the WhatsApp video. And then I rested a little bit. So we have 2 samples from the crucible. As I said, I want to light it again before. I mean, I want to eat more sandwiches from this. As I already discussed in the previous video from earlier today, I want to create more sandwiches with like the ikra and the robot juice. But I prefer to burn it actually before I mean, maybe just add some oil and burn it and add some charcoals. Just, I mean, you know, kind of like superstition against biological life forms. But let's first, I mean, see what we can see. I mean, I will watch it with you. I don't know what's on the slides. And also, I'm taking another sample from the big, like, you know, the aquarium, the metal aquarium. It is, this is a sealed container. So it's good that I open it and I kept it open for a couple of minutes. So, I mean, like, there will be some kind of oxygen, I mean, you know, replenishment, even though it's not enough, but I mean, it's something. I should say that when you open this metal container, I mean, you see bubbles, like, I mean, you see that there is kind of like, I mean, it seems, I mean, without any kind of, like, I mean, you know, chemical, without you initiating any chemical process, just, I mean, open the lid, you see, I mean, just by the oxygen, like, I mean, so gases are certainly, I mean, there is some kind of like gas pressure in there because when you open it, I mean, you smell like, I mean, you have you know, like a heat of smell, like that, I mean, is like hits you and then like, I mean, passes. So I mean, there is some kind of like a chemical process that creates like, I mean, gases that, I mean, has no kind of like outlet. And also, I mean, of course, the lack of oxygen, as we know, prohibits the creation of very big and diverse life forms, but some life forms are created even without oxygen. This is, of course, known from Earth as well. I mean, it's not only alien, but I mean, it's all, I mean, as we've seen, demonstrated true that it's also alien. And you know, the neurons doesn't seem to suffer, I mean, from the lack of oxygen. I mean, they seem to grow and like to. I mean, mostly what limits their growth is, I would say, time and also the existence of very large like life forms, because it was demonstrated months ago that when there are very large life forms, and all of these are actually require, I mean, among those that I have seen, they require oxygen. So I mean, it also creates much bigger neurons because they chop them to shawarma and they eat them, and so when you don't have this like, kind of bigger life forms, they have like less like food diversity. But let's take a look. Let's take a look and see what we can make of it. Of course, it would be like preferable if there will be oxygen supply, but I don't want to keep it open, even semi-open, and as it was in the past, because the smell is not like, I don't like the smell, and I don't have the means to create like, I mean, like a true aquarium, you know, with oxygen supply and like outlet for like, I mean, for the accumulation of gases. Maybe it's a good, I mean, so the question is that, what exactly is the difference between synthetic and biologic, I mean, life forms? So I've spoken about it in the past, and this is a question that, I mean, it's both a philosophical and practical question that should be discussed. Like I asked today, I said today that my feeling, it's more like a feeling than some kind of like I don't have any kind of scientific proof for it. Is that biological microbes are more disgusting for me than like in general than synthetic ones. And I assume that for Homo sapiens it's the other way around, but I'm not certain. And it's a question like, what are the titans like position on the mother? Maybe they don't care. Maybe it's the same for them. Maybe they don't care. And really the question is, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between? By the way, so I've taken the body of like the yellow jacket. We still don't have a name for it. So if you do have a name for it, please, put it on the comments. And if there is a good, like, if your name will be chosen, we will try to compensate you with kind of like a gift, but it will be a very modest one because I have nothing at all and no money. Anyway, so yes, this is definitely the body of the yellow jacket. We've seen it even though it spent a couple of days like on the window, like open to the elements. We don't see any decomposition. What you see, the white stuff is also the vaccine that were taken from the resurrection. The stuff from the resurrection crucible. So I can say that the resurrection crucible did not actually. Resurrection was not done. So this is kind of like a failed miracle, and I apologize for my audience because it seems that even though it did not decompose, and probably it's not going to be easy for like Earth germs to decompose this body because it's most certainly made of metal. And maybe we can take a look or we can also take a look under the microscope, even though we want to be able to see much because it's just too heavy and too sturdy. But maybe we'll see something under the microscope after these three slides. So, again, there is the question of synthetic and biological. So what exactly is the difference? I would just say that this is a philosophical question, and from my perspective, and I said it many times, there is not like a very synthetic is just both are part of like the phenomenon, the huge phenomenon of life, and from my perspective, what you call biological is just a subgroup or subset of the what I call synthetic. So in reality, what we say when we speak about biological microbes or life forms, like in this channel or in this context, it's kind of like it's just a small group of like it's huge group. In absolute terms, life in Earth, all life in Earth is biological. Besides what you can get at my shop, and of course in Tel Aviv and Rishon and other places where I've been working lately. But generally, out of the things that you can find in my shop, all life forms, and maybe the titans that are spread all over the globe, but mostly in Israel, and of course myself. But other than that, all life is biological in Earth. But and like they're told, it's so, like the phenomenon that flag is so diverse in Earth. But even though it's so diverse, it's actually very small, tiny part of the whole phenomenon of life that is actually much more diverse than almost all humans that paid like attention to this. To the question of life actually imagined. We've seen enough to know that life can be created from huge amount of elements and can be created in very different environment than Earth. So what we actually when we speak about synthetic life form, what we actually refer to is it's not really synthetic. It's actually it's just it's the synthetic life forms are all the other life forms that are that can possibly exist that are not what we call biological. And what we call biological is the things that we can find in Earth. And this is actually even this kind of like definition is not very strict because even today you can find you can find like non-biological life forms in Earth. Like again, this one and these creatures and this and this and this and this and this. So there is not like a strict answer. And it should be said that science doesn't really. the question of life was, I mean, it's an ancient question. I mean, what does it even mean? Like, and in the past, of course, people like have different, like humans have different thoughts regarding, I mean, what's life, and they didn't think like in the past that life can only like be emerged from life, like, you know, vivo ex vivo. This is relatively a new concept, like in the last 300 years, something like that. In the past, it was thought that life can be created, like, I mean, from the dead mother. Not like it's part of like a mythological process, but I mean it's an everyday process that presumably happens to worms or flies or things like that. So in reality, we don't really have like very good, I mean, definition of what's biological and what's synthetic. Besides that, I would say that intrinsically there is not like a huge difference. I mean, it's not that, I mean, one is live and one doesn't, or one is fake and one is authentic, or something like that. They are both authentic and both are alive, and both can be very simple and very complicated, of course. I mean, both can be like, I mean, just, you know, unicellular, simple, like the simplest, like, you know, creatures, and I mean, you know, creatures that are made in the image of God, you know, בצלמו ובדמותו. So again, I would suggest that what you call biological is just a subset of what I call synthetic. Of course, again, that the fact that we see this kind of like, I mean, body is a testament that what we've seen earlier is actually another one of the same kind. So this is not like, I mean, a one trick pony. I mean, we've seen two already. I mean, so there must be much more than that. The other one, I mean, intentionally I didn't try to catch it. I mean, I thought I captured it on video, but I mean, after I've seen the video, I don't know if you can actually see it in the video. But I'm sure that it was of the same type because it was big and yellow, and I mean, and it's not something that you see every day. It's kind of like it's pretty big, like flyer. And as I said, when it flies, it's characterized by the fact that it flies relatively very slow. So it looks friendly. I mean, it doesn't look very intimidating, even though it's like yellow and pretty big. So, I mean, it looks like a big wasp, but it flies slower than like wasps and hornets, much slower. So it's kind of like, I mean, so the fact that it flies slowly, I mean, gives some kind of like, I mean, a friendly vibe to it, like friendly attitude to it. And of course, the fact that it flies so slowly is, I mean, obviously, not because, I mean, he wants to be like friendly to you. It's just because it's like a tank. It's like a flying tank. Like, I mean, it's super heavy. Like, I mean, it's incredibly more heavy than, I mean, than black insects that are of the same size or the same volume that you can find in Earth. Okay, so let's start. You know, just, I mean, for the sake of, I mean, you know, logistical kind of like, I mean, separation, I'll stop the video now and start another one, I mean, immediately. So the actual, like, I mean, microscopic evidence will start, you know, in a separate video for logical separation.